this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with day 15 of my 28-day Christmas card challenge, which means we're halfway through, which is great. So today I would like to show you how I made this eclipse card. Eclipse card means you have a word or an image slightly hidden in the pattern because the pattern is continuous at the top, but if you turn it, you can actually see the word better. For this I have used my little paper pad that I got from the works a few weeks ago. I had that in my haul video. This is only 100 GSM, so I'll back this up with another cardstock which was 160 GSM, just to make it easier to work with this because it is really thin. The other thing I've used is some craft foam that I just got from Poundland. I think it was 10 sheets for £1. They were just small ones, basically the size of this card, so 6x4, but very good to use and very cheap, obviously. So I have already pre-cut the word, and I've already pre-cut the sentiment, and I've heat embossed it. The stamp I used is this one. It came with a magazine last year, but as you can see it says "Snow Much Fun," but I only wanted the much fun. There are two ways you can do this. One is before you ink this up with the embossing ink or normal ink, you put a mask on the word that you don't want, and then put the ink on, and then take the mask on before you before you stamp. But I'm not too fussed. I don't need this like this again, the stamp, although I can easily assemble it. So all I did was I cut it apart. And there's one little tip on how you do that if you want to be precise. I'll show you with a different stamp. We just move this out of the way so we've got a darker background. So what you need to do is you bend the stamp like this. And because you bend it, you can get closer in between the words there. And that makes it so much easier. And I just used my nail scissors to cut these apart, so it's very easy to do that. And if they're your own stamps, you can do with them what you like, so I find that very useful. So as I said, I cut the letters from the cardstock. When you make multiple cards, make sure you keep your letters with the card that you cut them out of, because you want this pattern to be continuous. If you mix them up, you might not be able to fit those back in. And also keep the center here of the O, because you need that again. Obviously you can choose other words. They must obviously fit the card. You can use them for names. You can put Dad, Mum there, anything you would like. Xmas is fine for Christmas cards, or joy makes a really nice word. So you cut these out of your cardstock. Let me just see where I've put mine. Yeah, I'm going to show you in a second how I did that. In order to outline these properly and not have them wonky, what I like to do is I always make myself a template, which means I've taken a thin piece of cardstock. I think it's only 120 GSM. I have drawn myself a line here and the width of the cardstock I'm going to use it for, so I know I have to stay in between those lines. And then I aligned my dies on this. Make sure they're straight, make sure they are facing the right way. I have marked here in German, it says Oben. This one says Oben, which means top, so I don't accidentally turn these letters the wrong way around, because this S has actually got a top and a bottom. Same with the O. It doesn't matter which way around you put it, but when you stick it back down, this side is actually thicker than this one, so you need to make sure you glue them the right way around, especially when you apply the foam later on. You don't want to accidentally turn this upside down. So, and what I then do after I've laid them down on my piece of paper, I stick them down with my removable Scotch tape, but you could also use other adhesive because you won't really stick this down. But I only stick them down on the actual frames. I don't put it where you basically got the gaps. So stick them on the top and the bottom. And then I put this in a die cutting machine and cut this out of the white paper or cardstock. So I'm left with this. And now I can use this as a template for as many cards as I want. So, and for the foam, obviously. So when I cut this out of more than one card, it's worth making yourself a template, because you can use this again and it's very easy to line up, which I'm going to show you now. So I've got my cardstock here now. So all I need to do is, the top one is, by the way, it's a bit wonky, but it doesn't matter as long as I've got the bottom straight. And sometimes I use my German ruler thingy here. I've had this for, I think, about 40 years, because I used that in school. So I just need to make sure that the bottom is straight. I need to make sure, you can see now that the sides are aligned, because you don't want to go over the edge there, and that's easy to miss when you've got a small piece of cardstock. If you've got a shorter word and enough space on the side, or if you've got a bigger cardstock, this is just 6x4, then you're fine. So once you've decided on this, I might actually move it up just a notch. There we go. So I'll measure it again. I'm going to stick this down with my tape. I always halve these to save a little bit, so just a bit at the bottom, a bit at the top to keep it in place. And now I can die cut this. So normal sandwich for this. Sorry if the camera wobbles a bit. Sorry, I've just set the, oh, that's why, because it stamp is on the back there. So just pop this out of the way. So now it's very easy to pop these out, and then take this off carefully, and then, as I said, you can reuse that for the next card. And then, as I said, keep these together so you don't lose them and you remember which way around the O goes. If you find it hasn't cut right through, the N is always a bit of tricky die with this one. Just use your scissors and just cut where it's a bit stuck. You could use a shim on this if you're struggling with your letters, but this is not really thick cardstock. The problem is the die itself. There we go. So I'll tidy this up a bit, because you can see I've got a bit of a fuzzy bit sticking out, so make it neat. Make sure this is neat. This is fine. So now I can stick this down on my cardstock. I think I've hidden here, yes. So I've got a side folding card for this, because I used an A4 sheet, but obviously you can have a top folding card with this. This one will give me a nice little edge all the way around. So I'm just using my collage glue. Oh, what I didn't mention before, when you stick this paper down onto the cardstock, I use a Pritt stick, because you want to make sure that every bit is stuck down. Because if you do it with the collage glue and just go over the certain bits as you would do with a mat, then once you cut it apart, you might find that these bits aren't glued together properly, and you want to have glue all over. You could obviously use adhesive sheets, but they're not always cheap, so the Pritt stick is definitely the cheaper option, and it just takes a few minutes to dry. So now you want to apply glue everywhere, even on the small bits, and I'm going to speed this up for the video. Okay. The advantage of the collage glue is that you can move it around a bit to get the edges quite even. Just make sure you press everything down properly, because once you've pressed it down, the collage glue adheres really nicely. Not too fussed if you get a bit of glue there, because this will be covered up with the foam in a second. So pop just a little bit underneath there. Press it down. This is a bit temperamental, but doesn't matter. So now you can adhere your foam letters. A little tip, by the way, for die cutting these: always only put the foam through once. Don't go back and forth in your die cutting machine, because once you've gone through, they will distort. So, but you could just cut them out like normal, like thick cardstock. And they usually cut quite nicely. You can obviously cut out various layers of cardstock and top them, stack them up. But I'm the lazy girl. I like to do it like this. So again, I check with my letter, making sure it's the right way round. This is actually the front. Yes, I can see there is the indentation there, so this is the way it goes round. Last thing you want is to stick these down and then realize your pattern doesn't match up on the top. And as always, because they're flexible, the foam, make sure once they're in place you do stick them down a bit. Apologies if I'm going off screen a bit every now and then. So because we've cut it out of the cardstock, it's actually really easy to align the letters. So same with this one, need to check that's the right way around. Yeah, it looks right. So before you attach the top, you just take the inner bit of the O and pop that in. Again, make sure it's the right way around. And again, that's very easy to align now that you've put in the foam. And now all you need to do is attach the paper letters on the top. I've chosen blue foam, fun foam, because I thought that went well with the card. I didn't have anything in that sort of bluish green. Obviously you can use other colours. I would always choose a colour that goes with the pattern paper though. I wouldn't use anything that stands out too much. If you have white, that's fine. If you buy your fun foam from the kits section, it usually is in bright rainbow colours. So I'm going to speed this up for the last two letters. If you hear any noises in the background, people speaking, it's because my pub is open. It's Sunday afternoon and I didn't get to do the video this morning, so I thought I'd just take it as it is. So for the sentiment, as I said, I've stamped this with embossing ink. I've heat embossed this in white, and one thing I'm going to do, which I did here as well, is I'm going to go round the edges with my blending brush, just with what the ink I have on it, and it gives a bit more dimension and a more finished look to it. Otherwise it can look quite boring in a way. So I've already popped some more fun foam on the back there, and all I need to do now is glue this down. This one I decided to glue down in the middle because I didn't want to cover up any of the snowmen on either side. Here I will probably not put it there because they're these little snowmen, so just have a look where I'd like to put it. Could cover it here or there. I'll probably put it here. I like to line it up on my grid and then I can see if it's straight. And there we go. Another Eclipse card made from the pattern cardstock from the works. So a good way to use up your patterned paper, or if you've got the thicker pattern cardstock, you don't even need to put it on another base, so it's even faster to dye. And if you make yourself a template, you can mass produce these cards very easily. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, I'd be happy if you gave me a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more of my videos, you might also want to subscribe. That would make me very happy. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 16 of my Christmas card challenge. Thank you.